Hi, I'm Michael Woods, Chief Scientist at the Asian Turfgrass Center. Welcome to another ATC Double Cut, where I talk about the content on the ATC website, talk a little bit of turfgrass, and give a double cut treatment to something that I've already written about once and decide that it's worthwhile talking about. Today, I'm glad to have a special guest joining me. Welcome back to the show, Mr. Joe Gulotti, host of the Talking Greenkeeper podcast.
Micah, how are you? Thanks for having me back.
Well, I'm glad to have you. And if you're on the show, that means we're kind of starting a trend here, or a series of when Joe's on the show, we're going to talk about one of the posts that I've written about that nobody paid attention to the first time. What the ones that just kind of
The
bombed.
bombs.
Yeah. So I think it's hard for I guess I could talk about those myself and I could just do have a monologue version because sometimes I do this show without a guest and I could just talk about something and say you should have here's why I wrote it, here's why I wish you would have paid attention to it, but it almost sounds like complaining or like I'm desperate, you know. But if I have you on, we can kind of have a laugh about it.
Yeah,
I can
absolutely.
still have my desperation and be like
And I
begging for people to pay attention, but at least maybe it comes across a little bit more normal when I have you on the show. So I think this is a good type of series.
I love it. I get thrown all the bombs your way, Micah, because even your bombs are epic. They're so good. So I mean, 2 minutes of your time for the most part. How long does it take to read? And you have that. That's what I love about your blog is that
This
at the
one
beginning, yeah. How
This
long
one,
did this one
I'm
take to
just
read?
looking at it. I didn't bring it up on the screen yet or announce which one it is. It's a really good one. It's a 3 minute read. But you know
Three
what?
minutes,
It's like it's got pictures. You don't even have to read it. You could just look at the pretty pictures. I would think
which
then
are
and
awesome on this one.
this one is
So good.
well worth it. So yeah, but let's see. Before we jump into that, Joe, tell us a little bit about your podcast for people who haven't heard of you or about the Talking Greenkeeper.
All right, so I'm a golf course superintendent. I'm from Delaware, the first state in the United States, and I have a podcast called the Talking Greenkeeper Podcast. Going to be starting season 5 here coming up. I don't know why I do seasons. I start the season on Labor Day because I started it back in 2018. Mark McGreevy, my BFF in turfgrass, might be just a really good person, really good friend. I had him over on Labor Day weekend 2018 for the first inaugural episode. And I just thought, okay, so we'll just do that as the kickoff for the season. So I'll be starting my 5th season here coming up in September 2022, and it's a podcast just with about greenkeeping mostly. I talk to mostly greenkeepers and people associated with our trade, PhDs like you, Micah. I've talked to Bill Kreuzer, Ben McGraw, countless superintendents, art teachers that moonlight as greenkeepers during the summer. Shout out Michael Cantor, and
Fashion.
yeah, fashion. Yeah, Greg Montefiore from the Golf Threads blog. Yeah, so Casey Bannon. I'll talk to anybody. I'll talk to anybody that has an interesting story.
Well, that's good. I am a regular listener of the Talking Greenkeeper, and you can follow Joe on Twitter at hardg43, and that's a good place to follow him because he will announce his new shows there. But if you just
I
follow the
do.
show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, then you can just get a notification when there's a new episode, and that's pretty good. I
Yeah.
always enjoy that. So
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you listening, man.
it's my pleasure. And for anybody who doesn't follow me, I'm at Asian Turfgrass on Twitter, and I also announce new blog posts and so on. And some recycled old classic blog posts occasionally at Asian Turfgrass on Twitter. All of these links that we're showing and the link to this episode, the link to this post that we're going to discuss, and I'm going to get to that right now, I'll put in the description in the show notes. So if you want to click through, you can check those out. This is the post. I'm bringing it up on the screen. We'll describe what we're looking at and talking about here for those who are listening. This is a post in 2019. It originally posted in 2019. It had out of all the posts I did in the year, it was number 3 in terms of the fewest views. So this is just a complete bomb. And when I posted it, I thought this could be like a classic one. And I gave it the title Turf Color Consistency and the Oldest Course in Thailand. So this is
I mean,
a not.
you had me at the oldest course in Thailand. I immediately going oldest course in Thailand. Click. I mean, come on, man.
And right
How
at the
did this
top, it
bomb?
says it's a 3-minute read. And I've got uh, a photo at the very start that shows a pink bougainvillea and 2 caddies with matching pink uniforms that match that bougainvillea, an old school bunker. I think this is hole number, it might, I think it's coming up to the 11th green, if I remember right, at Royal Hua Hin in Hua Hin, which is about 180 kilometers from Bangkok, about 2.5, 3 hours to the southwest of Bangkok. It's the oldest course in Thailand. I think this year may be the 100-year anniversary, and it's got beautiful color because it varies through the year. They generally don't irrigate the fairways too much, and because of that, the green complexes will have green grass that's not dormant, but in the dry season, the fairways will take on all different shades of green, and there's all different kinds of grasses growing there. And it's one where I'd been there for a visit at the time that I posted it. I said last month I made a trip to Hua Hin and visited 2 of the fine golf courses there, Royal Hua Hin Golf Club and Banyan Golf Club. And I wrote in this post about the Royal Hua Hin Golf Club. And to me, it's just interesting to see the oldest course in a country and what the conditions are like. And so you've got all different kinds of grasses, and it's right next to the train station. So
Oh, the
this
train
for me is a
station. Yeah.
which is so the train station is built with very typical Thai architecture, and the course is there because of the train. Um, the course was laid out, I believe, by a Scottish
Engineer, right? Or
engineer.
something. Yeah.
There was like a Scottish engineer who was involved with the train line construction 105 years ago or something, and they put a golf course there. And then this even has elephants because I talk about Hua Hin as a tourist destination and show a vineyard where there are people riding elephants through the vineyard. And to me, that's just fascinating. But I guess
Yeah. I
it's
mean,
not
riding
a,
an elephant?
yeah, through a
You're not
vineyard.
riding an elephant in Bedminster, New Jersey.
You're not riding an elephant in Napa Valley. So this is
No.
at the Monsoon Valley Winery, but and there's like a
The prayer
prayer
tree.
tree. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you've got all kinds of things where people believe that there's spirits in this banyan tree, and
I
they
mean, I
will
would have to
show some
agree.
respect to that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, Micah, so this post, I loved it. I think I may have emailed you after this post saying how much I loved it or hit you up on WhatsApp, whatever. And what I love about this golf course, it's just it reminds me of a Bukowski short story. Are you familiar with the writer Charles Bukowski?
just a little bit. I have not read his entire canon.
Okay, so I mean they're all the same. It's really just a drunk getting into shenanigans, right? And what this course reminds me of, it reminds me of a Bukowski novel, or not even a novel. He was more of a short story. He wrote a lot of short stories, as compared to say a Shakespeare, who was more proper and you're gonna have much more fun reading a Bukowski short story than reading Macbeth, right? And I would pair Macbeth maybe to a Pebble Beach or St. Andrews or something that's like proper and prim. But yeah, those places are fun and they're enjoyable. But this place is just feels like that favorite dive bar that you went to in your early 20s, where you go there and it just feels comfortable, but it's just dangerous enough where you might meet somebody doing a crazy dance who's gonna like hit you up with a free hit of ecstasy, and you don't know where the night's gonna take you.
Yeah, something like that would be fun.
Yeah,
I
totally.
all,
Like, you know?
it's a fun golf course. I usually make some birdies. I This is the location where I tried out my first birdie dance where
It's
I
so
had
good.
both feet off the ground, and a lot of people said that that was the best one ever.
How good is the shadow?
Yeah, the shadow's good. I have an excellent photographer. We check the angles usually before I even hit the putt, so it's a bit nerve wracking because, I'll hit the green in regulation. We know. I mean, sometimes I chip in for birdies,
Who's
but
your
usually I'm putting it,
who's your
and
photographer?
it's a good friend. I'm not going to name him, but we play a lot of golf together,
Okay, all
and
right.
so generally, yeah, because I
You
don't
know,
play a lot
I'm
of
just
golf.
I'm just picturing Rodney Dangerfield Caddyshack, how he he had the photographer with him all the whole time. That's what I'm picturing in my mind right now.
Well, I I will just say that and I'm a pretty good putter, and so anything within 20 feet or something, we start thinking, okay, good chance that I may make this one, especially if it's for birdie, because I'd really like to have a chance. Like all my birdie dances are legit birdies. It's not like I just go pose for these, and um, mostly I put the birdie dance photos on my michaelwoods.com site, not on Asian Turfgrass because they're personal. But
Yeah, no, the
yeah,
birdie
it's
dance is
here.
so good.
Here I did put a birdie dance on the Asian Turfgrass site. And you can see the course has all different kinds of colors, and it's just consistently fun. And yeah, I showed another course in town, the uh,
Yeah,
the Banyan
looks
Golf Club,
awesome.
and show some of the stuff that having a mango drink at the beach. It's just good. So I thought that that kind of thing about the variety that you could see in turf color, which I never in the title of that post I used the word consistency, and I said I called it, the title was turf color consistency and the oldest course in Thailand, and
Okay.
I realized after I wrote it that I'd written the title, and I did talk about turf color. I did talk about the oldest course in Thailand, but I never really explained what I meant by consistency. But of course, that's not.
So what did you mean? What did you mean by that?
Well, I had been a little bit. I'd heard people from other golf courses, like general managers or superintendents, doing some marketing, maybe from the general manager side, talking about the consistency that they have at their facility, and we're talking about like high end, high maintenance courses that are pretty expensive to
The
play,
Shakespeare courses.
something like that.
Yeah.
And they're talking about the consistency of how good they are. And I was thinking it's like, okay, it's kind of consistent mediocrity because it's so wet that you might get mud on your ball even during the dry season. And the one thing that I really don't like, because I mentioned that I'm an excellent putter, but I'm not a good driver of the golf ball. So for me to have a drive that finds the fairway is quite an accomplishment. And it's something that I'm excited about as I walk up the fairway, go out maybe 180, 210, 220. If I've just blasted it off the heel and found the fairway and, maybe hit it. I mean, it's in the fairway. I'm expecting it's not far, but it's out in the fairway. So I'm expecting a good lie and a clean golf ball, and nothing bugs me more than being in the fairway and having mud on my ball during the dry season. And that unfortunately is common in Thailand. And I just thought it was bizarre that there's courses bragging about how consistent they are when it's all just about consistency of look, of green color. Everything's green, but for me the playability is not consistent. The playability, well, it's not consistently good. The playability is mediocre. Where you've got these classic courses that sometimes they're green when it rains, but when it doesn't rain, the colors change, but the playability is always consistently really good. And that's what I meant to weave as a thread through that post, that I never really got around to explaining it because I was so busy with those pretty pictures, putting in pretty pictures of how nice it was and how interesting it was that you can play this kind of golf course that has these varieties of looks, and you can go to the beach and have mango drinks, and you can go to the winery and see elephants and that sort of thing, that totally forgot about the uh, consistency theme.
That makes total sense, because it is easy to get distracted by that, and that's what's. I think that's what's missing, and then that's what I suffer from, Micah, as a golf course superintendent, as a turf grass manager. Sometimes I just get wrapped into this world of managing turf grass instead of managing a playing surface, right?
Yeah,
And
I
yeah,
heard
go
you.
ahead.
I heard you on one of your Talking Greenkeeper episodes talking with James Bledge, and I think you were talking about conditions in the British Isles on links courses when they get dry. And if I remember right, you said something like you'd lose your job or get fired or something if you had a course that looked like that, that was dry. And did you say that? Did I
Yeah, I
remember
did
right?
say that. I did say that. Yeah, I did say that. I did say that. And I think it's hard for American superintendents to go that way. And I struggle with this thought. Mike, I'm preparing for some upcoming episodes on my podcast with some superintendents that are on the East Coast, that are in the Mid Atlantic, that don't water, that manage bent grass and in different ways. And as I'm researching, and these episodes are yet to come, as I'm researching them, it's making me second guess again, like, what am I doing? Why am I watering so much? I'm over watering on sand based greens to where they're turning different colors, and they just feel awful, and there's pitch marks all over them, I think to myself, what am I doing? Why? And yeah, I don't know. I've been doing this job since 1998, and I'm still just searching. I'm 50 years old, Mike, and I'm still searching for this medium, this way of managing grass to where it's not. And I'm going to go Ken Seams, and Ken Seams said this on an episode. You're managing, like, grass isn't played on a color; it's played on a surface. And
Hmm.
I think as American superintendents, we are caught up that grass is played on a color, not a surface.
I don't know. I don't know. It's a big country with a lot of different golf courses. So
Yeah.
one one can find a lot of variety, but yeah, I will say that as a golfer, I know which I prefer, and I always thought it was silly when pigments first came out because I thought it was, or when pigments first started to be used, because to me it made the courses look too green, and I just didn't like that because
Yeah.
it's like it was too fake. And I prefer something that's a bit more natural. Something that I've always liked about the game of golf is we're playing through that piece of property, through that landscape. And so if it's December and there's deciduous trees around, then I'm expecting most of the leaves have fallen off. So now I get that. I might uh, have some leaves in the rough. There, if I hit under the trees, as I mentioned, I don't find the fairway very often. So I might lose my ball in the leaves if I hit into the trees, and I expect to hear the wind blowing through the trees in a certain way in that season. And I expect the grass to represent that also. Then, if I go back to that same golf course in July, I might expect to hear cicadas and insects and birds and hear a different sound as the wind is blowing through
I
the
know
trees.
that's so funny that you mentioned that. I'm sorry to interrupt, but through June and August, I wake up early. I mention this all the time. I wake up so early, and I walk out my door, and it is so quiet, Micah. It's almost deafening how quiet it is, right? It's just, I walk out my door, and it's so quiet. And right now, the crickets are up when I'm up, and it's loud, and they're
Hmm.
making their noise, and it's awesome. It's so good. And I look up in the sky, and the stars are just so bright. And I'm off to work. I'm still half groggy and haven't had my coffee yet, but I've noticed that the crickets, it's just, yeah, that makes so, like the cicadas, yeah, man, it's so cool. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, so we as humans, we appreciate that kind of variety in we appreciate that kind of variety that we can have in in the way that the landscape is and the types of insects or birds that we are hearing or seeing in different seasons. And I think that golf courses should also change by the season, and it should be normal that sometimes it's green, sometimes it's not green. Sometimes the ball bounces and rolls forever. Sometimes it doesn't go so far. So I just thought that I I thought that advertising a golf course as being consistent when it's never really that good. It's just always consistent is not really what I want in a golf course. But I think the retail golfer, even in Thailand, they appreciate the being able to take a cart, having a cooler on the cart that they have free water bottles in, having a caddy that gives good service, having green color all the time. That's what people like.
Having a photographer take your birdie dance photos.
Yeah, most people don't make as many birdies as I do, so they probably wouldn't get use out of a photographer.
How much did it cost to play that course?
This
This
course
is what I'm
costs
fascinated by.
it. It varies by day of the week, but this course is about $25-$30.
It's awesome. It's awesome. It looks so good. The oldest course in Thailand. Why wouldn't you take 3 minutes to read about it?
I don't know, but I hope a lot of people do after they hear about it on this
I
show.
know. I do too. Yeah, I do too. I mean, the just the picture of the train station is insane.
Let me uh, let me find that train
Get that
station.
one back.
Yeah. So
I
yeah,
know.
this
So
is
cool.
yeah, that's pretty cool. It's a Yeah, it's a beautiful place. And so the golf course is you go across the train tracks and you're just across the street from the train station. And then the first hole uh, is a par five, and the train tracks are all down the left side. So if you hit it left, then you will go out of bounds and onto the train tracks. And I think
So
a lot of the great courses around the world are built around train lines.
cities, yeah, trains, yeah. I mean, you have Chambers Bay. There's St. Andrews, the Road Hole. So many good golf courses. So I got a question about this golf course, Micah.
Yes, sir.
Where? So I looked it up on my maps. I dialed it in. I was just checking it out. And I'm gonna say this wrong because I can't pronounce anything right, but there's a landmark and it's the Kwa Hin Leak Fei. Did I say that right? Landmark? I'm saying it totally wrong. I
I
see you
I don't
smiling.
I don't know. I don't know what you're referring to. Because
Okay.
I just pay attention to golf courses. Tell me, where is it in relation to this golf course?
Okay, so it was on the golf course, so I'm gonna have to like really look this up right now. Um, when I was just checking it out, here I'm gonna hook it. I'm going to my computer right now. It's going so slow. Do we have time?
Yeah, we do.
How are we on time? Okay,
We're
cool.
we're doing good as long as uh it's yeah, I'm interested to know.
Okay, so okay, so
You are
Q Hin. Here we go.
what a
I'm hooking. Okay, so I got it right now, and here we go. I'm looking at it, and I can't find it, of course. So yeah, let me look it on the map. Hold on. There was something I just remember seeing it. Um. Okay. I'm going in. I mean, it looks so sick where it is. It's whatever. I don't know. I pronounce it. I can't read my chicken scratch. It's KHOAHINLUKFAI. I don't know.
yeah, phi might mean refer to train. Cow might be hill. Um, maybe it's the hill that you see from the golf course. Um,
Okay, that's probably it. But
which
yeah,
let me bring. Yeah, so you've got
that's probably it right there.
yes, you can
But
go
they have.
up. So I'm showing on the screen. I'm showing an image of the 10th hole, I I believe, and on top of that hill there there's a viewing platform, and so you can go up on that hill and you look out over the golf course, over the town, and over the sea, and it's quite a spectacular view. And that reminds me that I should share some pictures of that sometime because uh, it's quite a nice view looking down on the oldest course
Oh,
in
here it
Thailand.
is. I got it. I got it. Cow Hin Lekfe.
Okay, well, if you're on your computer, you can probably look up what it is then.
Okay, I'm gonna click on it.
See if my very poor guess. Well, I'm not good at Thai language, so I
Yeah,
don't know
it's
what that
okay. So
means.
you nailed it. It's the hill right there. It's the hill.
Okay,
Yep.
good. Yeah,
Yeah,
see,
you nailed it. Yeah, you
I
nailed it. So,
I will tell my
yeah,
wife that my Thai is quite good.
it is good. You nailed it. But dude, it looks awesome. I'm looking at it on the map. It's right next to the Gulf of Thailand, right? I mean, the Gulf of Thailand's right there, correct?
Well, yeah, you've got the train. I mean, the town sits right on the Gulf of Thailand, so it's a beautiful beach
Yeah.
resort. And the train runs down there. The train that runs all the way down to Singapore. The train line that goes from Bangkok down to Singapore, sometimes called the Orient Express. That I think is that what it's called. Anyway,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. I
Maybe
mean,
that's I
I
don't
am
know. I may
fascinated
be
with
wrong about the train line, but I
I
know
mean,
that
I'm
this train
fast
line
yeah,
goes to Singapore.
fascinated by the golf courses in Thailand and Thailand in general. It's just one of these places that I feel that I need to get to someday. I almost want to get to this. I want to get to Thailand more than I want to get to Europe, than I want to get to Scotland. Right?
Well,
Like I
we'll
just feel like there's more. It's just more dangerous. It just seems more fun to me
yeah,
to go to
it's
Thailand.
definitely more dangerous. It's a longer flight. Yeah, there's more variety, I think, in the types of golf courses that you'd see. And
And that's probably why I like this post. That's probably why I am attracted to this post. That's why I read it and don't think it's a bomb. And perhaps that's why, I don't know, Micah, that's why you made it to Thailand, and I'm fascinated by Thailand, and people just don't care about the oldest golf course in Thailand or consistency. And
yeah, I think the people that read my blog tend
yeah.
to be professional turfgrass managers, people who do this job for a living. And if you're a
Mhm.
professional turfgrass manager, you're probably quite busy. And because of that, you probably don't have a lot of time to read, to just spend time on scrolling through or reading things that are not relevant to your job. And then otherwise, you want to get away from your job and go do something like barbecue or windsurfing or mountain climbing or whatever.
Yeah.
So it just kind of has a limited audience. But I am so glad that it's possible for me just to write about these kind of things that interest me, and I'm glad that there's people like you, Joe, who enjoy looking at the pictures and reading about that stuff.
I do. I do. It makes the dreamer in me think that that dream of playing the oldest course in Royal, I'm not even going to even attempt to pronounce the pronunciation of it.
Royal
Let me
Joaquin,
Royal Wahine.
yeah,
If
it,
yeah, I would, I, nothing more than I hope one day to play Royal Wahine and
yeah,
make a
we
birdie and perhaps get a photograph of me doing a birdie dance of my own.
it would be good. I heard you make some birdies sometimes.
I
You
do, I do. You know, so like it's funny because I think I can't remember what episode it was. And I said, I think I only made like 5 or 6 birdies last year. And you texted me the next day and you said, that's not a lot of birdies. And so this year I've been keeping track of my birdies.
hmm
And I haven't played actually since June 27th. With a shout out Ben McGraw. We played Garden City in Long Island. Awesome course. And I missed a couple birdie putts that day. I could have done some birdie dances. But yeah, I haven't played since then. But I think I'm up to like 7 or 8 for the year.
that's that's really good. That's really
Yeah, I
good.
mean, it's not too bad. And I'm going to get back into it. It's like, yeah, I've been busy through the month of July, just with work and with vacation and hanging with the family. And there's just golf takes a backseat to the things that to obviously work and hanging with the fam. But yeah, I'm getting ready to dial it back up in the month of August and September for sure.
That's
Get
good.
some
Well,
birdie dances going.
as you go through the autumn, you can make a lot of birdies, and please share those birdie dances with us.
I will. I will hit you up on WhatsApp every time I make a birdie, Micah, just to keep that count
That's
going.
that is the way you do it. Is you send a picture to your friends, and then they just know what happened. It's intimidating to know that your potential opponent is making a lot of birdies and then flaunting it in that way.
No, I gotcha. I gotcha. Well, I mean, I always, and that's the one cool thing about golf, right? That's what's so special about golf because it's the one sport where you don't really root against your opponent. So, for example, if you and I were playing a game of one-on-one basketball, I'd be
hmm
trying to stop you from scoring, right? I'd be doing all I could to just stop you from scoring. But in golf, I'm sitting there, right? And I might be playing a match against you. And we might be playing for, something as simple as a mango shake on the shores of the Gulf of Thailand.
hmm
And you make a birdie, and I might get a little sinking feeling, but I'm kind of happy that you made the birdie, right? It's weird. That's the beauty of golf.
That's yeah, it's great, and I don't think we've played together yet, but we will, and hopefully
We
we'll make
will.
some birdies. I'll work on my driving game, work on my putting game, and hopefully we can make that happen.
Absolutely, Micah. I can't wait to play. I can't wait to play around with you.
Well, Joe, thank you for helping me out with this discussion, the double cut treatment of
Here, I'm gonna do that. Here's the new double cut gang sign.
Show it. Double cut. There you go. Yeah, that's very good. So if anybody is listening to this, and that's
there it is.
listening or watching, you can do that gang sign. And I don't know what you would do that for, but you can do that, Joe. All right. Well, I hope you'll join me again sometime, and we can talk about more of the posts that bomb, because I do think it works good to be less desperate by having a conversation with you instead of me pleading for people to please read what I write.
We'll hook it up. We'll get those numbers up where they need to be.
Okay. Thank you so much, Joe. And thanks
You're
everyone
welcome,
for
Micah.
listening. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll be back again soon with another ATC Double Cut. For now, I'll sign off for ATC from Yantakao, Thailand. I'm Michael Woods.